Ahoy, AEA members. So here's the whole shebang in a nutshell. AEA believes there's more money available for a larger raise this year than what has been offered. The challenge we face is that the school board does not believe this, because according to their CFO, there isn't more money for a larger raise. AEA members must persuade the school board to believe what we believe. We must convince 3 people, a board majority, to convince 2 people, the superintendent and the CFO, to do something they do not want to do, spend money. Our actions, the pressure we've put on the district and the board, has been successful. Last year, we secured a 5% salary increase, and now we've gone from a 1.5% offer to a 4% offer. That's a total of 9% in 12 months. But we believe there's just a little more in there. The district can afford a 5% upfront offer this year. This would show a reprioritization of teachers over savings without making cuts. That being said, AEA members also need to get behind a parcel tax because without a new revenue stream, the only way Alameda educators will ever reach the county average is at the loss of the things Alamedans love most. In this screencast, I will explain AEA's understanding of AUSD's finances and how we came to this conclusion. In the last screencast, we demonstrated that AUSD receives comparable ADA to other districts in the county. But they spend less funds on teachers' salaries. We showed that historically, AUSD has been making a diminishing effort to compensate educators. And now the hiring and staffing crisis is so bad, even management is acknowledging they need to pay us more. Now we would like to demonstrate what we understand about the district's finances. When the district budgets, they start 3 years beforehand and make projections. When they first made the budget for the year 2017-18, revenues were projected to be $99.4 million. The next year, it was revised to be $104 million. The following year, it increased again to $107. When the revenues were finally tallied, the total was $111.6 million. We see that the district consistently underestimates how much money they will receive. Their offers are based on conservative projections. As you can see, year after year, the difference between what the June projections are and what the unaudited actuals are is on average 4.7% greater. This means that each year, the district has several million more dollars per year than it anticipates. Why isn't that money put towards salary, given that the district's goal is to raise teacher salaries to the county average? We believe we know the answer. It has to do with one-time money. We'll get to that. Last year, we took a look at projected revenues for the 2018-19 school year, and we noticed the same pattern occurring. In fact, we even made a prediction of what the total revenues would be. We guessed $120 million. When the unaudited actuals were released 2 weeks ago, the total revenues were even higher than we had predicted, $122 million. AUSD and the board will say, there's no more possible funds because the ending fund balance 3 years out in 2021-22 is negative $1.7 million, even with the money in reserves of only $6.6 million. It is true that this would not be enough, but this won't happen. History shows the ending fund balance in 3 years will be significantly higher than currently projected, as our ending fund balances are always significantly higher than projected. This projected deficit will likely turn into a positive $11.9 million based on this trend. An even more established pattern of underestimating revenues gives us double assurance that we will be in the black in 2021-22, even with additional money turned from reserves into compensation. By substantially underestimating revenues at the 3 years out vantage point, AUSD has assured that the county always approves AUSD's budgets, and they should be congratulated for this. Yet, now that we can all see the historical trend, we know that there will be $11 million more dollars in the ending fund balance than currently projected. And we also know there will be the further reserves kept safe in Fund 17. When we examine AUSD's budget for last year, here is what we find. AUSD's total revenue was approximately $122 million. Fund 17 refers to the district's savings account. The state requires that they hold 3% in reserves, and the board has a directive to hold an additional reserves of 3 weeks of salary pay, which gives us the total of about $8 million. Fund 1 contains what the district has left over from the school year. This is unrestricted funds that can be spent at the board's discretion. The additional funds available in Fund 1 is about $11 million. AEA believes that AUSD can safely spend down some of this money to create a larger upfront offer. Assuming the cost of a 1% raise for all district employees is about $860,000, which across 3 years, which is how far in advance AUSD has to budget, is $2.58 million. This would leave $16 million in reserves, or 13%. But this is one-time money. It won't be there next year. It is not ongoing. But that one-time money has been saved for many years, so there's more available for a raise this year greater than the one currently offered by the district, just not enough to bring us to county average. If we want to reach average, here is the reality we face. AUSD expects to spend $116 million in the 2019-20 school year. A salary increase that brings AUSD educators up to average would cost about $10 million, or 8.6% of the district's total budget. But this does not tell the whole story. 35% of AUSD's budget comes from restricted funding. This money is earmarked for specific programs like SPED, which cannot simply be cut in order to give employees a raise. So the $10 million needed has to come from the rest of the budget. $10 million represents 13% of the unrestricted budget. Here's AUSD's $74 million in unrestricted spending only. Salaries and benefits account for 87% of all unrestricted dollars being spent this year. Salaries and benefits also make up most of the restricted spending. As you can see, were the district to give us this raise exclusively as a result of cuts, it would have a severe impact on other elements of the district's budget, on things that Alamedans and teachers alike love, like avoiding closing schools, like avoiding increasing class size for grades 4 through 12, and avoiding cutting electives at secondary. We're all looking for a way to responsibly deal with the staffing crisis, and here it is. If there was ever a time for AUSD to spend down a bit of its cautious savings on securing the student's education, this is it. AUSD has heard that teachers do not want to be doing the heavy lifting to get a parcel tax passed, and are taking steps to find additional ways for teachers to support it. An additional bit for this year will show that the district is serious about reprioritizing teachers. AEA members, we can win. It's going to take conversations with parents. It's going to take community engagement. It's going to take leverage on the board. We must educate our membership. We must attend school board meetings, and we must teach the public what is at stake. Solidarity forever.